not getting any traction, not having this, not having that. What do I do? And then you're going back to what Carlos was saying with
your location.
Yeah.
It's that saying, but it's doing that. He hasn't invested enough time. But then it comes back to knowing your city, knowing the networking groups. When I said to him, like, go where they are.
If you can't find the community, find a community to support what you're doing, like you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't find it, you do what Erica Radis did, and you say, I'm just going to create one.
Yep.
Which is kind of like how we ended up here, right?
This
Because
is where
it's like, man, I am having a hard time finding really what I'm looking for, or I'm having a hard time connecting in the places that I'm currently going because the vibe's not there. Like the fit's not there for me. So I need to just create it.
When you're trying to hire somebody to do the marketing, did you hire somebody like you guys? Did you take the time to understand my business? Because a lot of them, they just look at it as a number. And
There's
like,
a cookie cutter model that they'll throw you in based off of a profile.
Yeah.
And both of us, I think, from getting to know you, we both disdain that model.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because trust me, I've been...
Just the cookie cutter marketing agency model. You make this threshold, you're in this industry, we have this package for you that is not effective and is not tailored to the needs of that particular business or business owner.
Correct.
It's rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice sustainable model for one part of that two-party equation, and it's not the business owner. Yeah.
I've spent a lot of money in marketing because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, lost confidence in marketing because of agency, the correct agency.
Yeah.
Right?
And you probably
And
run
I
into
might-
that
and
Yeah.
as a-
so much.
Oh, yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
trust marketing agencies or reps or small businesses or people like us. They don't because they've been burned. But also then I feel like they may not have run into the right people who take the time to really know them and the business and the team around it. Because there's a lot of dynamics you take into consideration. Their goals and then going, okay, really, what are your roadblocks?
I need to know. I got to know. Did anybody else feel anything different in the room? It doesn't matter what the difference it was on either side of the line. Did you feel any difference, and what difference did you feel?
They're more comfortable.
Did you feel that?
I did. They came out faster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, usually it gets really quiet and then no one wants to say anything. The group seeing each other, I think, is that they've seen each other every few weeks and they're now comfortable. Maybe they're feeling like it's okay to be vulnerable because I'm not the only one and say it. But they were just more comfortable and chatty. I mean, there were more people raising their hands and jumping in. So I was like, yeah.
I think everybody was ready to talk.
Yeah.
Like there were a lot of you go ahead, which was cool. Yeah.
It was very cool.
So I think the reputation of the group is getting out there where you want support, you want to be heard, you want to, get some feedback, go to this group. It'll be okay. It'll be safe. And I think that's what it is because, I mean, everybody's jumping to speak. They're comfortable now, even the new people.
I think that's a part of it. I think, we had a large portion of the room who has been here multiple times and has already been through some of the vulnerability and seen like how that works. And then having like Sean and Paul there,
Yep.
and then just witnessing how quick that happened, I think that automatically just invites someone to be like, oh, well, actually, we're going through this.
Yeah.
And then just kind of unpacking that. So that was cool. And they obviously had like a lot of solutions and hand raising right after. And they have intriguing, personalities too. So you kind of want to, discover a little bit more.
Yeah.
But there were some good nuggets today for sure.
Yeah.
And I find it fascinating that is for, I think, Paul, his brand new experience came from Netherlands. Not even a year in San Antonio. It's brand new. So he's struggling with that. He's struggling with it to connect. He's struggling because, trying to find his footing in San Antonio. So
We've talked about that before too. And as a city in kind of the social networking aspect, I think everybody was agreeing that networking and intentional, like deeper dive than business cards is essential in the city and actually creating those connections. So it was cool to hear everybody kind of echo that in different words.
And I'm living proof of that myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not from San Antonio. I lived here 3 years and then moved away, and then I just came back. I'm on my second year, and yeah, you have to build those relationships. You have to stay in front of people and genuinely create the relationship with the people, to be taken seriously, to be people generally wanting to be with and do business with you.
Yeah.
Which is rare, because most of my clients are from out of state. I have a digital relationship with them, but it's different. You know what I mean? It's different city, so different vibe. I think it's pretty cool.
Different city for sure. It was cool to hear somebody else talk about the way San Antonio is unique. Maisie, the way that you talked about being from Baton Rouge and then living in New Orleans, the differences culturally in terms of how people accept, adopt, or resonate with what you're trying to do there, selling something or being in business to any capacity. And then the way that people brought up that dynamic in Texas, where it's like San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, Austin. One of these things
It's not like the other.
is not like the other. You know, like it's crazy. I wonder what can we tie that to? Like, what is that? Where is that coming from in San Antonio? I feel like you're looking at me like you have some idea.
I think, opinion-wise, and I'll be the one to point out, none of us here are from San Antonio, is what I just discovered.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
We're not.
Yeah.
No.
Do you know I didn't know that in the room before? Jasmine was
Right?
the only one from San Antonio.
And I was like, yeah. So, and Fabian asked, and I was going to ask, and then he asked, and I was like, that's a great question. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I think there's a cultural nuance. There's obviously some history in terms of, different cultures colliding in San Antonio. We're famous for the Alamo and everything. I say we because now we're San Antonians, right? But I think that's a part of it. And I think not wanting to be Austin, but maybe there's some craving to be like Austin for some people. That's just my opinion. In the Texas Triangle, you're right. One of these things is not like the other.
Should we try to be like Austin though?
No.
God, no.
No.
There was so much in that. There was so much in
It's
that.
just, no. I think Austin's trying to figure out who Austin is now.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Just talking to people in the past who are from Austin before Austin became what Austin is now.
Back when it was weird?
And before that, it's just, they said it's even so different now from what it was even 20 or so years ago that I think there's this whole, like, who is Austin, depending on your generation or how long you've been there.
Can I give you my perspective on that? I graduated from the University of Texas. So 20 years ago, I was there. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you what it was like. And to call Austin weird was like a positive. That's a good thing. Mm-hmm. We had shirts, keep Austin weird. We wanted it to be that way. We had, Michael Dell, who hailed from Austin and didn't finish at the University of Texas and did really wonderful things. Not that I have a Dell computer, because I don't. But still, it's kind of cool. It was a dynamic that I do not recognize today. And I was just there this past weekend because I actually went to watch Texas play Vanderbilt, that was a lot of fun. But being in the city, it's also kind of sucks for my kids because, like, anytime we're near the university, like, everything stops. Everything that they want stops. Like, anything anybody's saying, it stops because I'm going, right over there is where I used to do this, and then right over there is where that happened. One time when I was over here, I'll never forget, I slipped and I fell, and then I saw the white squirrel that's on campus that we thought would be good luck and would help us to get a 4.0 that semester. Like, all that kind of weird stuff happens whenever I'm in Austin. It's just such a place that just holds such fond memories. It's also a place like that I also met my wife, which, by the way, I had to say, oh yeah, right over there. That's where we had our first New Year's kiss, by the way. She's like, you're such a dweeb. She's like, you're so sentimental. I don't understand. But it's not the same place. Like, it's so much different. I felt like Austin had a weird vibe in a good way that was its own. It was unique. And today, if I had to put words to it, the best word that I can describe it with is almost over commercialized in a sense. I feel like I could get in a lot of trouble for saying that in a sense, maybe with some people, but that's just what it feels like. It's almost like we tried too hard and we went too far in terms of the pendulum swing and the weirdness and trying to corporatize weirdness and trying to like whatever it is that we're doing there. And so Austin is very different, but I think from a business perspective, if you've got a business there and you're a small to mid-sized business, is it the same place that you could have done that those 20 years ago? Nope, not even close. But I do think that, I don't know, I feel like there are some pockets of small businesses that are doing a little bit of something. I know a few that are there, but overall, no, not the same.
I get it. I mean, I have to also look at it as we came here, we were offered a job, my husband was, to work for the city of San Antonio, and we had to weigh out where to raise our child. And I think, if someone's going to start a business here, I would say this is a better city, San Antonio is, to raise that child.
Because it's a slower city?
It's both, yes. There's something about it, maybe because it reminds me of New Orleans where I grew up. There's something about it, and the schools are better here than there. but that's why we chose. We can give him a public school education, and a good one, without having to pay for a private school like we used to, just so he can have a good one. And so if there's any business owner or someone who's working but taking that leap of faith, what are you weighing? And that's what we had to weigh. It's like, do we come here and, start a family, raise our family, our child here? And I think with business owners, especially small ones and startups, I mean, that's got to weigh in if they have children or want to have children. Because eventually that's going to play when you start balancing numbers and time and everything, or just the culture. And I think this is a good place to have it as a business and with a family.
When I said slower, I definitely meant slower pace, not just slower pace. It seems as though it is a slower pace than your Houston and your Dallas, which provides or affords you that ability to do both, to be able to raise a family and also tend to the needs of a community by serving them within the scope and the confines of what your business does. So I could see that. I've certainly enjoyed it, and it's been a place where I feel like I have blossomed more into something that I could have never seen myself being or seen for myself, maybe not even 5 years ago. So it's a unique city for sure.
Yeah.
I was going to say, speaking of San Antonio, there's two things that I see that are huge factors. Because of its history, with the Alamo. But if you do the research, San Antonio is the only city in the United States who actually celebrates and takes advantage, touristically speaking, of the Mexican heritage. This is every time you go anywhere in any other big cities, and I come from Chicago, so is a neighborhood, it's a Mexican neighborhood, here is the entire city. They're actually proud. So Fiesta tells you that, Dia de los Muertos, all of those festivals around that Mexican culture, they embrace it and they welcome you that way. If you look at they do a fantastic job.
So much more so, you have more people show up to Fiesta than you had show up for the mayoral election.
You got it.
That is
just
the truth.
Tells you the level of importance in terms of the cultural heritage. You're right.
So, and the other half is that this is a military city, right? So you have people from all over the U.S. coming to San Antonio, different cultures, different backgrounds, different everything, and they station here. They kind of have to build community here. And that hasn't changed the background and the culture of, you know what I mean? You kind of absorb it.
Yeah.
And you kind of and you decide, I'm going to make San Antonio my home. So the way I can describe it when I first moved here was because I came from a big city, Chicago. But to me, San Antonio is still, I think it's the 7th largest city in the country, but it doesn't feel that way. It's like a big, small town.
That's really true.
Right?
Yes.
That's really true.
And that to me is like I don't have that congestion
Mm-hmm.
of a big city, but I have everything of a big city.
Here's a question about that. How does that impact that fact that you're talking about? How does that impact the small businesses that we're sitting with every single day? Are people taking advantage of that? Are they not taking advantage of that? If they are or are not,
In my opinion, they are not.
What's the remedy? Okay, say more.
Yeah. In my opinion, they are not because, again, we're not building a relationship. And if we build a relationship, we're going to understand the background. We're going to understand, and if we tap into that, is huge. I mean, especially a small business owner with brick and mortar shops, restaurants, any kind of a small business that doesn't tap into that cultural aspect of San Antonio is missing out.
Mm-hmm.
Or that don't participate in what the city does, because the city celebrates the hell out of their culture. So, and we don't go along for the ride business-wise. I don't think we do enough. Just it's been my experience.
Do you think go back to that thing about Austin when it was weird, back when it was weird? And then what I think I noticed where it's like seems almost over commercialized. Do you think anything about the commercialization of the bigger corporations is affecting the ability? Is it clouding the sphere in a sense to where your small businesses aren't recognizing to play into that kind of a thing? Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I don't think that's the case. I don't know what you guys think of that. I don't think that's the case because the city does also a very good job. I don't know if you know this. You probably do.
So city's doing a good job.
Yeah.
Small businesses are not.
Yeah, because did you know that if you want to build a skyscraper in the city of San Antonio, you can't if it blocks the shadow to the Alamo.
I heard of that recently.
That's one of those crazy laws that you find in
So you seen that the Frost Bank, that was supposed to be huge. But it stopped where it stopped because that's how the city allowed it. That's what I read.
Is that necessarily a good thing? We say remember the Alamo. Do we really want to remember the Alamo? Was it really?
But they're holding on to it.
I think they do it as a commercial. It brings money to the city. That's it.
Yeah, for the tourism element.
Mm-hmm. The tourism element.
But come on, let's think about this for real though. For real though, I don't want to get too far off topic, but I can't help but talk about this right here. Are we really a tourist city? Y'all, we got a lake that smells. A river that smells. All right, and it's a strange greenish color that no real river should be. I'm just saying, are we really a tourist city here as we build this new stadium? Amongst other
Not
things.
yet.
Is the vote out? Prop A, Prop
I
B?
just saw a commercial. Yeah, I just saw a commercial, and they're already talking about building this thing. But then they're saying, "Oh, don't you worry, taxpayers. You're not paying for this."
This is a good.
Come on now.
I can tell you this has been a good hot button just in the video podcasting landscape.
I'm sure.
Because there's opinions, and it's like 50-50, which is cool. So, yeah.
It's like who's the GOAT, LeBron or Mike? Which is also not
and then
a real conversation.
Heard somebody throw out Larry Bird today, Coach Hess.
I thought that was cool.
But then he said the best, and then I was like, no.
He said one of the best.
Oh, did he say one of? Okay.
I'm glad for that clarification.
I heard the best, and I couldn't help but like.
Guys, I got parents from Chicago. We do not play this game. Okay,
I'm not even a sports guy.
There is one GOAT. Period. The end. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Oh my gosh,
That's all.
I cannot understand why people still doubt that. Don't know. Maybe it's our generation. I don't know.
The fact that the conversation is relevant, in every sphere, and the business one includes, that's kind of cool. Yeah. But yes, 50-50 on the new stadium and all these other things. Tourist city. Ultimately, you're talking about San Antonio and investing into the rich culture and the history here, and that's where people are missing it relationally. And if you're missing that as a business owner, you are missing the boat.
Yes. I agree completely. I made that mistake when I first moved here because I opened a franchise. I had a physical store for pet food deliveries, pet supplies, everything, all in that. And I didn't do my homework. I didn't do that research. I wasn't part of the Fiesta Medals where I could have done all of that. I mean, just little stuff that you could have done to ingrain myself into the culture. Wow. I didn't do it. we ended up closing.
I don't
'Cause I
understand
ne-
the metals, but
Yeah. So
I don't either, but
I
still.
I
don't
know
either.
people
I
give my
don't
son a
either.
medal and he puts it to the side. Like, wait, it's still.
You better believe within the first year I was here, I bought one.
But it's
It
a
was
market-
cool. It was
it's
at
a
my
marketing-
coffee shop.
it's a
Merritt knew what they were
marketing thing.
doing.
But you have to. I mean,
Yeah.
like, yeah. It's just I don't understand it.
Yeah, to this day we don't. To this day, I think my wife just went for the first time to one of the Fiesta events this past year. I mean,
For the
that's it,
first
for the
time.
first time, right? And then now that we're living here, we're more intentional about
Yes.
okay, let's go explore San Antonio.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So, one of my things is that I have to find a new microbrewery, every time I can. So I probably visit every single one already.
You're a beer connoisseur, aren't you?
I am.
I knew it. I knew it. He said something earlier today where he's like, yeah, relationship. Just what we're talking about. He was saying relationships. Like,
Grab
yeah,
a
like go
beer.
grab a beer. Now he's got to find a new microbrewery. I'm like, beer connoisseur. Got it.
Yeah.
No one beat him for Christmas. I'm curious, just some of the conversations that happened today. There were like 3 topics that I felt like we landed on, but it seemed like all of them they all really seemed to be more mindset, except what the networking question. That wasn't necessarily mindset. That was marketing. That was how do I create more of a sense of an awareness about what my business is doing, which I thought was an interesting question. Well, every business needs to do that, but it got the majority of the attention in the room today, which I also think was kind of weird. So like if you look at that almost statistically, it's like, okay, a third of the topics got the majority of the time, but then the other 2/3 were mindset stuff. Which is interesting, I thought that was interesting. But what did y'all think about the whole networking question?
It's tough, like thinking of the gentleman from the Netherlands. It's but like you said, you have to research the city, know it, and get and understand. That's market research too, right?
Yep.
So,
But hold on, wait. Let's set this up though, because if I'm not mistaken, what he said was he's been in business. How long was it? 6 months.
4 months, 6 months.
Was it 4 or 6? It was 6. Okay,
6 months.
6 months. He's determining whether or not to really like cut the cord on this business.
He compared it to this other business where at 4 months he was already
Yeah,
successful.
that's
And
what
where
it
he
was.
already built a network. And arguably,
Yeah.
it sounds like it might have been a completely different business model.
Correct.
So,
I may have later learned that it was.
yeah.
It was. Okay, so
But,
with
but
that
you set
in-
it up correctly because you said you can't compare one with the other. You can't measure one with the other unless it's the same business.
well,
And the same market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and so that's where I want to go back to where you were going, and I just wanted to provide the context to say, okay, here's the question. It's not getting any traction, not having this, not having that. What do I do? And then you're going back to what Carlos was saying with
Your location.
Yeah.
It's that saying, but it's doing that. He hasn't invested enough time. But then it comes back to knowing your city, knowing the networking groups. When I said to him, like, go where they are, that I remember moving here right before COVID, and I spent hours on the internet trying to find the right groups. And Erica Radis, Working Moms.
Working Mom San Antonio.
I found her because I was like putting in filters, like trying to figure it out. And I wanted moms who work in San Antonio. There was nothing. She had just started it because she saw a need for it.
wow.
Or there may have been somewhat, but it was the vibe too. But it's it. It's like, what is he looking for? He just needs to find it. And maybe it's not here yet. So maybe he needs to start it or whatever. But find what you're looking for. But I think the city still has a couple of holes to fill.
That's a whole nother rabbit trail
know?
that we need to go down, though.
Yeah.
That rabbit trail right there. And maybe you're not saying this and I'm hearing it out of nowhere, so correct me if I'm wrong, but if you can't find the community, find a community to support what you're doing, like you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't find it, you do what Erica Radis did and you say, I'm just going to create one.
Yep.
Which is kind of like how we ended up here, right?
This is
Because
where
it's like, man, I am having a hard time finding really what I'm looking for, or I'm having a hard time connecting in the places that I'm currently going because the vibe's not there. Like
Yep.
the fit's not there for me. So I need to just create it.
And I think the problem with networking and this is San Antonio is no different than any other place, but if you go to most networking groups that you go to is hard sale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, you go there to be sold to and exchange business cards,
Yeah.
and hopefully to, you know, you talk to somebody and close a deal and you on to the next one. And I despise that. To this day, I measure networking to that, and I
That's good, though.
hate doing it.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
so when somebody says, well, "Let's go to a networking," we're like, "Ugh," I dread it, right? Because I don't see any value in it. I don't want to go sell to anybody, and I don't want anybody to sell to me. I want to go build a relationship, and I think a lot of the networking groups fail because they don't teach the networking group that this is a community that you can learn how to network better and how to create your referral network. I actually created a system myself that teaches, I call it the diamond referral method, where it's a diamond shape where you put yourself in the middle and say, well, what other businesses are serving the same clientele base that I do? They don't directly compete with me, right? And how do I build a relationship with those 4 people? That's all I need to build. I can be a service or a resource for everybody else in the group, but I'm going to focus on creating a real relationship, business relationship. And if it leads to a friendship, awesome. That's a bonus. But people that serve the same client that I do, they will become my referral partners. So if I can build 4 of those powerful relationships and build a true relationship with those people, then, I mean, what do you do with your friends or with your family, right? It'll be much easier to say, you know, I recommend Maisie to you because I know her.
That's right.
I personally know her.
That's
I
right.
know her family. She knows my family. We build a relationship, so I have no problem saying, go to her. She'll take care of you. To me, that's the missing part on the networking. We're all trying to make that quick sale.
Yeah, you dropped a dime right there.
Right.
Like that was heavy. Like just the strategy of that, the intentionality. I mean, I wonder if people like. I think I sometimes know. Even my wife and my kids both are like, dude, you give people way too much credit. And so the reality is, Carlos, I don't think people are thinking like that a lot of times. You know, some like your higher tier folks maybe, but just how you broke that down, I think that was super valuable. I'm just curious though. Just going back to something you were saying, Maisie. Matt, were you going to say something? You look like you were going to say something.
Well, piggybacking off of market research, as a business, when we work with clients in marketing, one of the first things that we do, not necessarily hip to hip, but open source with that business, is we'll do a SWOT analysis.
Yeah.
So strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats from a marketing perspective, 30,000 foot view, and then you get down from there. And if the business hasn't done that internally, that gives them ad value, like automatically out of the gate. But with that also tones into market research and understanding, is there a market for what I have to provide? And you were talking about creating your own community and things like that, or creating, if it's a business, supply and demand tension, there's market education that can be had. One of the common issues that I've found with a lot of startups, and honestly why a lot of marketing companies, agencies don't necessarily prefer working with startups, is they don't necessarily know themselves or their market. And sometimes they're just subject matter experts as a technician, which can be a problem when you're trying to convey a unique value proposition to the consumer. And if you're so good at the thing that you do and you know it's the best, if you can't clearly articulate for the person who would benefit from it, hey, that's going to do X, Y, Z for your business or for what you're doing, then you're really just trying to sell into the void. And that's probably an issue. I don't know if that's their problem because I don't know beyond the tip of the iceberg what's going on with their business. I've seen it as a common problem.
Same. And then it's just asking them to do a little bit more homework on themselves.
The due diligence.
Yeah, you really have to sit there and then figure it out. And it's so eye-opening for some. And Alan asked me if we could talk because I gave him a worksheet. I was like, just answer these questions because it feels like you're trying to figure out what to do. And, from there, maybe you can go, maybe I have to pivot. Maybe I don't. And so I can't wait to see what he wrote down. I'm very interested to just see what he came to.
Is that something that you do? Do you do that as free value to your clients, targets, things like that?
It's always the beginning, and it's just the
And that
first
doesn't
step.
cost anything.
It's nothing. It's free.
That's huge value.
You need this.
Yeah.
You know, somebody, for us, we sometimes say like the difference between coaching and consulting is one of them is done for you. The other one is more the accountability. Coaching is more the accountability. Consulting is the done for you. The problem with consulting in this particular circumstance is that I can't tell you who you are. That's your job. So I feel like giving this as that resource is a perfect opportunity for us to be able to start understanding not only who they are, but who's looking for them. There's that thing again, like looking for people, looking for me. Who's looking for you? Do you know who you are? So is that something you think we could do? Can we
I can
send
attach. I'll send that. I'll give it to you. And
They so need it.
I think so. You know, and I gave this one worksheet to someone else recently. She came up to me and was ready to go out of the gates, but I was like, wait, do this first. And then we have come to, like, we've met several times, and now she's like, can I just meet you after December? Because I really realized I need a lot of work. I've got to figure this out. And I said, that is fine, because it's hard to just be with you and try to coach you, and you're just not there. You're still trying to figure it out. I'm wasting your time and money. And, you know, my time is also valuable. So I'm not serving someone else that I could. So, but I loved her honesty. She came to that conclusion. She's like, I have to talk to you after December. I've got to figure this out. And she gave herself that deadline. And I was like, okay, call me if you have any questions along the way.
I'm super encouraged by that for a number of reasons, and I can't even articulate them all right here, right now. But that work, it kind of leads to the next question within the sentence. Like, we're still talking about the networking thing that he was talking about, you know, creating that community that you're talking about, avoiding that area where we, as people who are in this industry that serve and that help them, don't end up doing their work for them because it's their work, not ours.
Correct.
If we do it, now we're creating another job for ourselves, which is the next question that that's a real question from me is, wait, so if that doesn't happen right, we end up doing a job that's not our job to do. We can't tell them who they are. That's their job. Putting ourselves in positions where we don't create more work for ourselves. Here's the question. When they have to go after figuring out who they are and then thinking about whether or not the market is currently servicing a need that they can clearly see exists, and they may need to create a community to attract people and bring about an awareness about the fact that they can solve a problem, is that creating more work? Is that creating another job for them? Because Maisie, I literally talked to that person afterwards, and I said, I want to say this to you, and I don't want to be offensive. They're like, you can't offend us, don't worry. And I was like, well, thank God. I said, listen, you're still new here, and quite frankly, you need to know the environment, it's your location, understand the history, and determine whether or not does a community exist that is really catering to your ability to serve them. And if not, you might need to create a community in one way or the other. And my caveat was, I hope that I'm not asking you to do a whole nother job on top of the job that you're already trying to do with this business. Am I asking them to do too much?
No.
I think it all depends.
You don't think so? If it's creating the community.
Yeah. I think it all depends, because not everybody can do this. Not everybody can do what you do.
Wow.
But not everybody can be a business owner too.
You got
Right.
it. You got it. So you have to be able to recognize that. So if you are asking to somebody to say, well, build a community if you don't have it, well, I'm barely coming to this one. Because,
I hear you.
I'm not going to build anything, right?
And maybe it happens organically, like you brought up to him. You said, well, then reach out to your peers and the people you've worked with in the past.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to grow out of that.
Correct.
He's got to just figure out the time and take that leap of faith in himself to tap right back into that.
Yeah. And the best way to do it, I mean, what I offer him was, Erica puts out that networking list of every networking available. I told him I'd make an introduction. you won't have to do any research. Just follow that list and pick one and go show up.
I have never met anybody that knows more people than Erica Rimpel, for sure. Like, that's a fact.
Great resource to have.
Like she runs San Antonio, man. Like anyway, I'm sorry.
And she's very young. It's like, how do you know so many people, man? But yeah, she's a great resource if you want to build community, if you want to be part of community, if you want to learn about San Antonio.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
She's one of us. So,
Michael Espinosa as well.
Yeah. SA Business Calendar, San Antonio Business Calendar. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I think one of the things you guys both in marketing talked about, which I think is extremely valuable for the rest of us business owners that don't know anything about marketing or need the marketing, is that when you're trying to hire somebody to do the marketing, that you hire somebody like you guys, that you take the time to understand my business. Because a lot of them, they just look at it as a number. And
there's like, a cookie cutter model that they'll throw you in based off of a profile.
Yeah.
And both of us, I think, from getting to know you, we both disdain that model.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because trust me, I've been
just the cookie cutter marketing agency model. You make this threshold, you're in this industry, we have this package for you that is not effective and is not tailored to the needs of that particular business or business owner.
Correct. It's rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice sustainable model for one part of that two-party equation, and it's not the business owner. Yeah.
I've spent a lot of money in marketing because of that. Mm-hmm. And in the meantime, lost confidence in marketing because of agency, the correct agency.
Yeah.
Right?
And you've probably run into that so much.
Oh, yeah.
They don't trust marketing agencies or reps or small businesses or people like us. They don't because they've been burned. But also then I feel like they may not have run into the right people who take the time to really know them and the business and the team around it. Because there's a lot of dynamics you take into consideration. Their goals and then going, okay, really, what are your roadblocks? And I'm not going to, what is your budget? Because that always has to come up. But also, I don't want you to think you're paying me to do what you want. Because what if it's the wrong thing?
Correct.
Yeah. And I'm not giving you the best that you really, you deserve, or I'm not telling you what you need to hear. And I think so many people have only said, well, I think I need to be on social, or I need this mailer, and I need this. And
our role as an advisor is to say, but do you need that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or do you need this? And testing that and finding out what's most
and not
effective.
Be afraid of you're going to lose that customer if I say this.
Yeah, and
you're going to lose them anyway.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When they can't afford it because your marketing strategy didn't work for them.
Correct.
That they wanted and they initiated.
So, and I think all of us, even all of us in this room might struggle with this. And I think you and I were a good test this morning when we were talking, because when I asked, tell me your core services, it took you 20 minutes, and I did the same thing. Mm-hmm. So, and I consciously try to get better at this every time, because how can I say what I do within 1 minute that when you walk away from me, Adi, I know exactly what he does, right? It's so hard to work on that message that delivers. And we also try to pile up everything. I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not even paying attention to my audience, right? When maybe what this person needs to hear is only this one little thing that I do, and that's all he needs to know right now. So helping business owners with how to deliver their message in just words, but also their social media, all their content, all their branding, all the marketing. I mean, websites, all of that is huge. And I think most marketing agencies miss that because they give you a cookie cutter package. They don't take the time to learn to know who you are, not only as a person, but as a business owner, and what your services are. So I think that's hugely important for any business owner, either startup or somebody scaling, and because maybe what got you here is not going to get you there.
Yeah,
you just kind of have to re-strategize your marketing efforts. So I think
Darius,
that's huge.
you also touched on a recent pain point for me, because a tough one for me, and I think for marketing agencies or professionals in general, is we can know what type of client we prefer to work with and we work best with as any business. When it comes to referrals from your existing clients who are happy with what they've gotten, it's becomes more difficult to scrutinize that. So very recently, I had to go into a client relationship where I found myself doing a lot more of the business coaching, which is why I love referral partnerships with people who are in the business coaching space and leadership space. Because you're right, we find ourselves sometimes doing the things that are just due diligence as a business owner because maybe the business acumen isn't there yet.
Or you find yourself doing it because you as the business owner feel like you have a certain responsibility
To help
for,
drive
success.
success.
For doing it, not realizing that, well, you've kind of grown to a place where it's
You're
not
a
the best use
specialist
of your
at something
time.
else. Exactly.
So can I just, the most recurring theme, and you know we spent time together last week and had a great time, but so recently moved into a new house, and I'm super grateful for it because one, it's more space, which my growing family needs. Not growing in the sense that we're not having any more kids. My wife was like 2 of you was enough, and so we're not having more kids, but our kids are just getting bigger. Plus, we're multi-generational living, so this house is a bigger space. And one of the things I noticed is how frustrated I've been lately because there's so much to do. And the frustration is coming at the hand of me thinking I'm supposed to do it all when I no longer have, I don't have the capacity to cover that much ground on the basis of the growth of the actual size of the home for now. Okay. And I mean, to the point that, even like my garage, I'm big on garage organization, by the way. I could probably start. I could totally start a business on that. I'm telling you, I would be so good.
Good to know before I invite you and the family over.
Let's go. Right. Wait a minute. No. Don't worry. It's
go in the
good.
garage.
I'm not judging. So even in my garage, it's like to the point where I've got so much to do and I can't do it all. And I'm realizing, I'm thinking I'm supposed to because it's my responsibility because it's my home. But I also have to realize, based on where I'm at in life, based on what's going on in my life, and a number of other things, it's not my job to do anymore. It's time to go and to get somebody else that can come in, that can help, and they can go put those shelves up. They can go take care of that situation over there, take care of those things over there, and to be so grateful that they do that I'm generously compensating them for the worth or the value of the job that they did.
But do you know how difficult that is?
It's so. Do you know it took me throwing a temper tantrum, and my wife basically telling me I'm a 5-year-old and having to accept that she was right again. Essentially, it's the same in business, man. Like the job gets to a place where, okay, yes, are you responsible from a standpoint of is it within the scope of the business and what the business needs to do? Yes, but do you need to be the one doing it anymore? Not necessarily. We've probably outgrown that.
Yeah, I think as business owners, we all reach our level of incompetence.
The Peter principle that's the Peter principle.
That's the Peter principle, right? You're going to reach your level of incompetence. There's a certain point where you're wearing every hat, but then you say, "Well, I reached my point. Right? I'm no longer smart enough to do this, able to do this. I have to be smart enough to recognize that and say, okay, I need to hire the expert." Mm-hmm. Now I need to do this. Mm-hmm. Right? So you're still responsible, but reaching that level of incompetence is so self-defeating.
It's humiliating.
Yes. And you have to be self-aware and all those identity crises and imposter syndrome feelings and all that emotional comes to light because you feel like, man, I suck.
The quicker I can just resonate with it and acknowledge it and move on, the quicker I can get better.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I think that goes for everybody.